All right, you guys, I'm here with Michael Baisden, and my question to you is, how do you feel about health and sexual relationship with minorities, such as Latin Americans and African Americans at the age of 14 to 18?
Well, our health issues are really bad. As you know, African Americans have some of the highest rates of HIV in the country. As far as sexually, we're not having conversations with our young people. Parents are not talking to their kids. Sex education is not even, I don't think it's thorough enough in high school. And of course, parents, whose primary responsibility is to educate their kids about sex, are not having conversations with their children about sex, probably because they don't know about sex. So parents need to educate themselves. I think schools need to do a better job of educating our children about sex and stop being afraid of it. The idea that we're just going to tell young people to abstain from sex and all of a sudden they're going to magically not be interested is ridiculous. Young people are going to be interested in sex the same way we were interested in sex when we were young. So we need to have a real conversation about it, call body parts what they are, not call them vaginas, VVs, and penises, wee-wees. We need
Do you think
real
sexual
names.
health is important?
Do I think sexual health,
Is important.
like education? Yes, I do think it is important. I do believe that students being knowledgeable on things that are important to their health is important in all capacities.
How does sexual health affect people around you and yourself?
I feel like because I work with teenagers, if they're not careful, then they may find themselves in predicaments that they didn't expect to be in. So it's very important to me and the people around me.
Do you think it's important to be well known about sexual health?
Yes, I do believe it's good to be knowledgeable on sexual health, and to know what's out there, what you can do to protect yourself, and just to be able to be well informed. It's good to be well informed.
Well, thank you for this interview, Ms. D.
You're welcome.
Studies showed that 103.6 thousand black males were infected with HIV in 2010, 45.5 thousand Hispanic males, and 15.8 thousand white males. 38.1 thousand black females were also infected with HIV in 2010. 8,000 Hispanic females and 1.9 thousand white females were infected with HIV in 2010.
Hi, I'm Donnie, and this is my interview, and I am interviewing today John Volsey, senior at Evans High School, class of 2015. All right, John, my question is to you. How can sexual intercourse affect a minority's health?
Sexual intercourse can affect the minority's health in many ways, like they'll probably abuse sexual intercourse, like they'll have sex just because of issues that they have going on, and then they'll be irresponsible with it, and then they end up having kids at a young age, and they won't be able to take care of those kids, which is going to lead to social issues with food stamps and then, their child care. So that's a lot of things that happen.
And how can all that bring about problems around the young people, the minorities?
The young people, well, some of them, they're gonna think it's okay to do that stuff. It's gonna start to become normal to them when they see a lot of people pregnant, and then they're gonna see a lot of bad things going around, and they're gonna think it's okay. Then they're gonna do it, and then everything's corrupted. So yeah.
So you growing up, seeing a lot of pregnant women or pregnant young minorities, what is your view on them? What is your take?
I think that's irresponsible sometimes because most of them know they can't take care of that kid. So they should never be going around doing that nasty stuff.
for your birds today. Hi, Shakoria. How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
Okay, so my first question is, have you experienced sadness, loneliness, or regret after having sex with a partner?
I have. I once experienced this with my first because I felt like it really wasn't a real deal thing. It was just a temporary thing. And of course, to him, it was also a temporary thing too. So always pick your partners. Always pick your partners the right way. Don't do it just for the satisfaction. Do it for the love.
Okay, my next question is, do you think African American girls or youth can more easily become pregnant?
I do not believe they can become more easily pregnant because I feel like just as other youth, we do have the same contraceptives that are available to us, and we also have the needs that we are able to provide to the youth to get to know what those contraceptives are.
Okay, and my last question is, have you ever experienced mental abuse in your relationships after sex?
After sex, no, but mental abuse in my relationship, I have experienced that, and I believe that experiencing that, it can go from mental to physical abuse, and you always want to stop that kind of abuse because no type of abuse is good in any type of relationship. So if you ever do experience that abuse, stop it as soon as possible.
Okay, well, that wraps up our little interview. Thank you so much, Shakoria.
Thank you.
All right, good morning, guys. I'm with Mr. Grace here, our safe coordinator. Mr. Grace, what do you think about HIV when it comes to your mind with minorities, African American minorities at the age of 14 through 18?
Well, what comes to my mind when I hear of HIV and African American under the age of 14, 18 to 18, I think about one word that comes to my mind, and that word is AIDS. And the reason that word comes to my mind because a lot of people, especially young generation, use unprotected sex, and AIDS is a direct relationship to unprotected sex.
And when it comes to that, when it comes to AIDS, what advice do you have to them to do the smarter thing or make a smarter choice?
Well, I would say, use protection or don't do it
At all.
at all.
Got you. Thank you, Mr. Grace.
You're welcome.
Hi, Lana. Okay, what's the first word that comes to mind when you hear sex, HIV, and AIDS?
Disease, no condoms, unprotected sex, and that's it.
All right, I'm here with Miss Fields. Now, what do you think about minorities at the age of 14 and 18, African Americans with HIV?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that these teens need to be educated, so on HIV and the awareness of the disease. And I think that many of them are out having unprotected sex, and they need to either protect themselves or remain abstinent.
Well, now, what can you tell them? Like, how can you convince them to do something better or smarter?
Well, I can't convince them to do anything better or smarter. The only thing I can do is to educate them on the disease and on being abstinent and protecting themselves if they're going to continue to have unprotected sex.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
These are the number of African American adults and adolescents estimated to be living with HIV in the top 10 states year-end 2010. New York has the highest with 54,905, and Florida has the second highest with 46,248. Can I get infected my first time having sex? Just because it's your first time having sexual intercourse does not mean you cannot get infected. If you are not protected and careful, anyone can get infected, no matter what the circumstances are.